Listen.
Listen.
Listen, Leslie Knope. No one in Parks and Rec is like a neurotypical person, but I present to you my Leslie Knope argument. Alright, listen. So, interpersonally, she's like loving and she like has lots of friends, but she also is like very inappropriate a lot of the time in the way she conducts herself with her friends, like when she makes them do things that they don't want to do. Anne is like, you can be quite overbearing. Like, you made me watch all 8 Harry Potter movies. I don't even like Harry Potter. And Leslie is like, you love Harry Potter. You've seen all 8 movies. And like has little anniversaries for like the first time she and Anne went to JJ's together to have waffles, and the first time they met, and the first time they hung out, and the first time they got drunk, and the first time they had like a sleepover, and like makes Anne presents every year for these anniversaries, to the point where it's like very, very overwhelming, and Anne has to be like, please, we can't do this anymore. Can we just have one day where we celebrate our friendship instead of like weekly things that I have to make you photo albums for that you then complain about because they're not as good as your photo albums that you make for me. And then beyond that, she, at one point when Anne moves, decides to hang out with all of the women and like make a list of how good they are as candidates for her new best friend. So she asks them all a bunch of questions about like their interests and like how they feel about issues, and then ranks them all, and then is like really bemused when they find out and all leave and get really upset with her. On the topic of not reading the social settings very well, there's a lot of evidence, but there's one episode where they go to a banquet, and she gets her hair done beforehand because she wants to look especially impressive.
I think I remember this
going. So everyone jokes that her haircut makes her look like a lesbian, but she does not pick up that this is the joke, and for 20 minutes is like utterly bemused by everyone's behaviour. Also doesn't realise that it's inappropriate to give a 22-minute long speech at this event, and then wants to talk to this zoning board member about her project, and the zoning board member blows her off, and she doesn't understand that she's been blown off, and then she tells her mum what the woman said, and her mum is like, no, she was being rude, go back, like manipulate her into doing what we want, and then Leslie doesn't really know how to do that and attempts to blackmail this woman. It goes really, really, really badly. It's literally just a whole episode of her like misreading and responding badly to other human beings. Also, romantically, there is the iconic episode where she goes on her first date with Dave the policeman, and she goes to Anne's beforehand to prepare, like they're at work, and she's like, do you have anything I can wear? Do you have like a cool date outfit, like a tank top and cargo pants or something? And Anne is like, that's not a date outfit. And Anne's like, yeah, you can come over later and borrow something. And Leslie's like, okay, later as in some hours from now? And Anne is like, do you want to come over now? And Leslie's like, yes. So they go over to Anne's, she borrows some clothes, and then is like, what happens if this happens? What if this happens? What if I set my dress on fire? What if he like shows up with his wife? What if this happens? And asks like a whole obsessive list of questions, and Anne is like, that's ridiculous, none of those things will happen. And Leslie is like, every single one of those things has happened to me in the past. But then there is also a future episode where she lists all of the times that she's been broken up with in bad ways, which I think is also indicative of like a general failure to connect with people on some level. And then also just obsessively over preparing either for that date or for everything else she does in her whole entire life. She has all these colour coordinated binders, she makes ridiculous scrapbooks for every event, and she complains that other people's scrapbooks aren't as good as hers. She like obsesses over her special interests are breakfast food, Anne, Ben, porny, women, politics. Like, she writes a book about the history of porny for fun, just as a side project. as well as like running for office and doing the entire work of the parks department because everyone else is autistic in a like not talking to people and hiding in their offices kind of way. Also, her house is a mess. Like the episode where you see her house for the first time and Anne is like, oh my god, why do you have all these documents? She's like, I might need them one day. Which, same.
Yep.
But like,
Yep.
she's a hoarder and it's unhealthy. And this is not 100%, this is not like a developed point because we don't really see her as a child. But whenever we do, she's playing with toys in like a political scenario. Like she's either pretending that she is running for governor and making like, or like running for mayor and making her own little campaign ads as a 10-year-old, or she's making her toys do political things, which, as contentious as the like imagination part of the various diagnostic criteria is, I still think that some people would argue that that's her like structured play, not like freely imagining, doing whatever. This is her being like, this is an interest that I have and this is how I will.
Yeah. Alone.
Yes, alone. No one else can ruin my plan. I'm gonna sit in my bedroom, play with my toys, or film myself alone as a 10-year-old. Very self-reliant. Yeah, and also she occasionally has meltdowns when things go wrong, which also. So.
Yes. Excellent. Well done.
I don't think I have anything else. No.
You just have the entire diagnostic criteria.
This is the short version.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. No, yeah, I agree.
For the others, well, no, that's not true. Obviously, for Javert, I just have the lyrics. But for some of my other ones, I have general notes, but I wanted to,
No, that was excellent.
Win.
I agree.
Thank you.
Also, I'm pleased that we have a woman. I was explaining this to my mother and she was like, why don't you have any women? And I was like, okay, well, there are many problems with like, women and autistic, but we do have one! It's just not mine, it's Nicky's.
No, this is one of the reasons that Leslie was one I wanted to do over the rest of Parks and Rec, because I feel like you can make a strong argument for Ron, and Ben especially. Ben, I don't have time to tell you how wrong you are. Actually, it's going to bug me if I don't. Also Ben, who yells at everyone for using incorrect fonts.
And that entire Meridor type.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. Obviously everything Ben does.
Obviously the cones of Dunshire. I love him.
Excellent. Yes, I approve. Leslie Knope, a tick.
Thank you. Yes, I think there are other people you could do it with, but Leslie is important to be like, women can be autistic and also people can be like sociable and relatively socially adept in particular settings where they're comfortable. Like she's good at having meetings, she's good at doing presentations, she's good at talking to her friends. Once they've all accepted, like initially Anne is like, what are you doing? What?
Yeah.
But like eventually, and initially Ben hates her because she's really aggressive and she's really like, the government is shut down, she keeps coming in and like starting lobbying groups so she has an excuse to do stuff as a civilian. So yeah, in her very autistic way, she is very sociable and like lovely.
Yes. Good.
Break those stereotypes.
Actually,
Ben thinks that I'm a steamroller? That's unbelievable. How dare he think that I'm a steamroller?
Leslie, I'm just telling
I
you.
know, he's going through a phase right now, and eventually we're gonna both be friends again.
No, what I was gonna say is that you really are
Working too hard. I know, Anne, you keep starting all these sentences and not finishing.
You're a steamroller! You are a massive, enormous, runaway steamroller with no brakes and a cement brick on the gas pedal. You made me watch all 8 Harry Potter movies. I don't even like Harry Potter.
That's insane. You love Harry Potter. You've seen all 8 movies.
When we go out to a bar, you order my drinks for me.
Because you order white wine and it gives you a headache.
What's my headache? Leslie, you do what you want, you ignore what other people want, and you hear only what you want to hear.
Okay, I know. I know I do this. I'm the worst.
No, you're very passionate. You just push too hard sometimes.
Well, then you should call me a bulldozer rather than a steamroller. I'm sorry. Hey, while I have you, can I ask you a question?
Shoot.
What if he asked me if I've been married?
Have you?
No.
Well, then say that.
But then he'll wonder why I haven't been married. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say that I was married. The real question is, should I say that I have kids? Guys like girls that have kids, right?
Whoa.
What if I get drunk and I talk about Darfur too much? Or not enough? What if I don't bring up Darfur enough?
Leslie, relax.
Yeah, okay. I just have a few more questions for you, Anne. What if he shows up with another woman? What if one of my sleeves catches on fire and it spreads rapidly? What if, instead of Tic Tacs, I accidentally pop a couple of Ambien and I have to keep punching my leg to stay awake?
Those are all insane hypotheticals, and I promise you they won't happen.
They have happened. All of these have happened to me. No, there's more. One time I accidentally drank an entire bottle of vinegar. I thought it was terrible wine. Once I went out with a guy who wore 3D glasses the entire evening. Oh, one time I rode in a sidecar on a guy's motorcycle, and the sidecar detached and went down a flight of stairs. Another time I went to a really boring movie with a guy, and while I was asleep, he tried to pull out one of my teeth. I literally woke up with his hand in my mouth. We went out a couple times after that, but then he got weird. There was another time where I was on a date and I tripped and broke my kneecap. And then the guy said he wasn't feeling it, so he left and I waited for an ambulance. One time I was dating this guy for a while and then he got down on one knee and he begged me to never call him again. One guy broke up with me while we were in the shower together. Skywriting isn't always positive. Another time, a guy invited me to a beautiful picnic with wine and flowers, and then when I tried to sit down, he said, "Don't eat anything, Rebecca's coming." And then he broke up. Hi, April.
Good evening, sir.
Oh, I'm off the clock, April. You don't need to call me sir. Salvatore calls this hairdo the mayor. And yes, I will wear my hair like this when I'm the first female mayor of Pawnee.
Oh, man. I'm way overdressed.
What are you talking about? You look great. We look great. Everyone's looking at us.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, table 12. Can I get a what?
Wow.
Thank you.
I mean, Anne, you look stunning. But Leslie, wow.
I was going for wow.
You got it.
Oh, let's see, you wrote a speech.
Yes, it's 22 minutes long. With the song. Guys, we have to get me to talk to Janine Restrepo. She's right behind us and she could rezone our park.
Then just go up there and say hello and start talking to her.
Brilliant political strategy, Mark. Maybe I should mention her massive weight loss. Restrepo. She said I should call her and we could set something up next month.
Did you say call her or call her secretary?
Secretary. That's good, right? Secretary makes a schedule.
It's great, honey. She's blowing us off.
What? No, really?
Honey, she's totally blowing us off.
What? That is not conduct worthy of the zoning board.
She's a little weasel. Okay, I didn't want to have to use this, but her husband got a DUI in Illinois last week, and she's trying to keep it quiet.
Well, everyone has their problems. So, what should my next tactic be? Hey, Anne.
Hey.
Welcome to my house for the very first time.
I know. I can't believe you've never had me over. Now I can believe it.
I know. It's a little messy. But I have a system. So I just need you to help me put the finishing touches on everything.
This newspaper's from November 1986.
Oh, the first rumblings of Iran Contra. Don't throw that out.
What do you need this birdhouse for? Can we get rid of it?
I might need it.
What about this one?
Well, if two birds come along.